Oh, what is Yevskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXHockeyCast. We're on episode 135. Tony Esposito. There's not a lot of 35s of my little hockey show where once a week I go through all the major news and what's happenings around the NHL, mainly focused in on the Leafs and the Flames. Those are my two favorite teams, but I'll be discussing all 32 teams on this podcast. And we are going to be doing a quarter-century team special on this episode. I'm going to go through all the available quarter-century teams that the NHL has released. What is a quarter-century team? Well, they're going to pick every team, and they're going to pick the best players over the last 25 years for each team, and they're going to make two lineups of 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goaltender? Yep, and a goaltender. And yeah, we're going to see who the best players, allegedly, from each franchise's teams are over the last 25 years. So we'll take a dive into that and a little bit of news or whatever sprinkled in throughout and all that great stuff. Let's just dive into it, y'all. Let's start off with the first one that was released, as far as I can see, all the way back to December 30th. These started off. We're going to kick it off with the St. Louis Blues. Yeah. Sorry about that. Oh, we'll just keep on moving on here. Let's talk about St. Louis. All right, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to start with the first team or the second team? It doesn't really matter. Let's just start with the first team. Okay, so up first, on the forward side, just to slap us Leaf fans right across the face, you got Alexander Steen, Vladimir Tarasenko, and Keith Tkachuk. All right, Keith Tkachuk makes it there. I don't remember when he retired, but I think it was like 2006 or something like that. Regardless, phenomenal player. Tarasenko in his prime in St. Louis was amazing, a 40-goal scorer. And Alexander Steen, a very solid player that would have been just dandy on the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, I'm not offended. We got Alex Pietrangelo and Chris Pronger. All right, that's insane. That's amazing. Can't go wrong with that one. Chris Pronger, the last defenseman to win a Hart Trophy, and Pietrangelo, a major part of 2 Stanley Cup victories. Let's go to the second team now. You got David Backes. Arguably, I'd be putting David Backes ahead of Alexander Steen. Not going to lie. You got Ryan O'Reilly. Okay, and then David Perron. All right. I'm fine with those 2 being there. David Perron, though, I don't know, but are you serious there's not someone else they could have put there? David Perron, I'm a little questioning. Ryan O'Reilly, absolutely, I'm fine with that. Conn Smythe, winner. Yeah, that's good with me. David Backes, yeah, I would switch Alexander Steen and Backes. That's all I would do there. And then you got Al MacInnis on defenseman and Colton Parayko. Okay, straight up. No offense to Pietrangelo, I know how good he is, but I'm putting Al MacInnis up there with Chris Pronger. You slide Petro down with Parayko, and Parayko, there's not a better defenseman than Parayko. I know he's having a really good year this season, but for the most part, Parayko's been this guy isn't good enough. He's not a Pietrangelo replacement, so I don't know. I could see someone else being there, but I can't pull out the name right now. But not bad. And then in net, it's Brian Elliott. You got to have Elliott there. He was amazing as a St. Louis Blue, as a 1A, 1B goaltender, man. It was him and I think it was Halak. I'm not 100% on that one, but man, when Binnington was in a 1A, 1B with St. Louis, he was outstanding. He was amazing, if you could say. And yeah, he hadn't found that ever since, but yeah, man, Brian Elliott back in St. Louis, that was some good shit. All right, I'm not offended with the St. Louis Blues team. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think of some names that they might have forgotten. I'm trying to pull out some fucking name, but I'm blanking, y'all. I'm blanking. I don't have it. I just don't. All right, not mad at that one. A couple of changes, but regardless. All right, we got Chicago. This should be fairly easy. Let's get in here. You got Patrick Kane, Patrick Sharp, and Jonathan Toews. Okay, Patrick Sharp, I don't know about that one right there. To be on the first team, bro, he was a good Blackhawk, but I don't know, but that seems a little rough. We'll see. You got Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook. All right, you really can't really knock that one. That's a phenomenal pairing that they have won so many Stanley Cups. Yeah, I'm good with that. Duncan Keith, Conn Smythe winner. And then Corey Crawford. All right, yeah, I think a little bit underrated at times. I think he was a good goaltender. And by the end of it especially, he started to get his love, I feel like. Not so much during like the actual runs. But yeah, I think Corey Crawford was a very good goaltender for the Blackhawks. Second team, you got DeBrincat, who didn't have the longest run with the Blackhawks. It was a nice run, though. You got Marian Hossa on the second team, bro. There's no way. I'm putting Hossa up there over Patrick Sharp, absolutely. And Brandon Saad there, eh? Okay. So I'm thinking of guys like the dude that fucking scored the winner against the Bruins, and then he went off and got a nice contract. And he wasn't the greatest player, but he was definitely clutch. I'm thinking like Andrew Shaw. No, there's no way he's better than Brandon Saad. I don't know, man. Like, that's, I feel like there's something missing. I feel like that's going to be the theme of this. Like, there is definitely someone missing here. But Alex DeBrincat was awesome. Brandon Saad was so good that they tried to bring him back. They traded away Panarin to bring him back, and that just failed. That kind of was the beginning of the end for the Chicago Blackhawks when they did that one. But, yeah, I'll put Hossa up at the top. You got Brian Campbell and Nicholas Hjalmarsson on the back end there. So, no Seth Jones on the back end. You know, I think he's a really good defenseman. It's just that he's on a terrible Chicago Blackhawks team. If he was there during, you know, more of their heydays, he would have easily made this list. Brian Campbell, though, like, another guy that had, like, I think he was only there for the first Chicago Stanley Cup, but he was there for a while beforehand, and he was a good defenseman. He earned a huge contract in Florida. And Nicholas Hjalmarsson, an amazing defensive defenseman that I always wanted the Leafs to get. And then you got Jocelyn Thibault in net. That's the goaltender before Chicago got good. I can't remember a lot about Jocelyn Thibault. I loved his name. I was a fan of him in the video games and stuff, but yeah, I guess he's just kind of the other guy. The only other guy is Antti Niemi, and, you know, kind of, I know he won the Stanley Cup, but he was definitely not the reason they won that Stanley Cup. He was kind of a passenger on that team. Yes, he made some big saves when he needed to, but he definitely was not the major piece of that team. Kind of nice that they gave it to Jocelyn Thibault, actually. The only one I question is, like, Brandon Saad and maybe Brian Campbell, but overall, pretty solid, man. There's a lot of Stanley Cup winners right there. Yeah, pretty good. Arizona Coyotes. All right, this should be fun. All right. Oh yeah, there's a name right there that I haven't seen in a lot. Oh my God, why is that guy in the second team? All right, first team: Shane Doan, Clayton Keller, and Radim Verbata. All right, you know what? Verbata was a good little player over there. I think he had like a 70-point season over there. He had some good seasons. I love Clayton Keller, and of course Shane Doan is like the fucking Coyote, man. He's the longest reigning captain. No, he wasn't like the greatest player or anything. He was never like an MVP caliber guy, but an awesome guy. You got OEL, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Keith Yandel, and Mike Smith in net. All right, I'm good with that. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was a great defenseman for them. Same with Keith Yandel. Both kind of offensively minded at that time. Clayton, all right, already did that. Mike Smith, yeah, obviously. He was the man. He was the goaltender that got them, I think it was to the third round they got to that year. Mike Smith is a stud. Now, this is where we have problems. Second team. Jeremy Roenick is on the second team. No fucking way. He is up there over Verbata. He's up there over Doan and Keller, in my opinion. He was just a superstar player. Now, he may not have been that caliber when he was there in Arizona necessarily, but no! Jeremy Roenick's on the first team. Get the fuck out of here. You got Martin Hansel and Nick Schmaltz. Hey, Schmaltzy. I love Schmaltzy, man. He's a great player. Martin Hansel. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm thinking of some names I'm going to pull out. I don't even know if they played, but like Nagy, I remember that name was always something. What about Tkachuk? Didn't Tkachuk play for the Arizona Coyotes at that time as well? Where's that name? Let's see. What other kind of names do they have? Who's playing for them currently that's like quite good? I mean, there's going to be some guys like you think like Logan Cooley and shit like that. Logan Cooley. Who's that other guy that they have? Dylan Guenther. Like those are some names that they did this in like 5 years. I wouldn't be entirely shocked if those guys crack onto there as well. I am happy to see Nick Schmaltz there. I think he's a super underrated player. A great addition when they got him from the Blackhawks, I do believe. Regardless, that's good, and now we have some defensemen I barely remember. Who remembers Zbigniew Michalek, everybody? Come on, let's get there. And you got Teppo Numminen. I am not very... I'm slightly familiar with Michalek. I remember him from the video games, but I don't remember him that well. And in net, why you have to be mad? It's Ilya Bryzgalov. Oh, fuck yeah. I know, a very interesting person. We'll leave it at that one, I guess. But, yeah, he was good in Phoenix. He was good there. You know, things fell apart when he got to Philadelphia and shit. Well, you have to be mad and all that shit. But, yeah, Bryzgalov, absolutely. I'm fine with that one. Trying to think of other goalies. Sean Burke, that might have been prior to the 2000s, but he was a great goaltender for them. Yeah, man. Yeah, they had some guys. You know, there's definitely the Jeremy Roenick thing made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Oh, there you go. There you go. Still making me a little bit sick. All right, let's move on to the next team. We got the Columbus Blue Jackets. First team, you got Rick the Dick. Rick Nash, you gotta. Cam Atkinson and Artemi Panarin are the forwards. Yeah, I'm good with that. Now, there's not a long history with Columbus. This is like for them. This is their entire history base. I think they came into the NHL in 2000. So, yep, Cam Atkinson, a fantastic goal scorer for them. I really liked Cam Atkinson when he was there. Artemi Panarin is like one of the biggest fucking superstars they've ever had in there, even though he was only there for a cup of tea. He provided one of the greatest moments in their history, taking out the Tampa Bay Lightning and that phenomenal handshake line where he was laughing with Kucherov, and Kucherov wasn't having any of that shit. He probably punched so many holes in the wall after that. Regardless, I'm good with Panarin being there. Even though he wasn't there long, he made an impact. You got Seth Jones and Zach Werenski. Absolutely, man. That's a great little 1-2 right there. Though Seth Jones didn't have the biggest impact, he ended up getting traded. But, yeah, man, Zach Werenski, though, fucking rates. Absolute stud. Have an amazing season this year. I'm good with that one. I'm good with that. You got Sergei Bobrovsky and net. Absolutely. There you go. All good. You got second team is Nick Foligno. All right, that's fine. Former captain Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, I'm not even gonna say anything about that. Absolutely. And Boone Jenner. Hey, Boone Jenner, fan favorite. I like him. Trying to think of some other guys that. What about Voracek? Like Voracek, I know he wasn't necessarily a great Blue Jacket, but he was there. Who played with fucking Rick Nash, and not a lot of guys, eh? Yeah, well, hey, what about Jeff Carter? Remember that? He was there. Oh, that was so bad. You got David Savard and Fedor Tutin on defense for the second team. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Savard was there for a long time. Same thing with Tutin. I wouldn't say they're like necessarily fucking like all-stars or anything, but solid defense. And Steve Mason. Who remembers Steve Mason? Did that guy not win the Calder or something that year? He had a season or two that was really good, but yeah, what could have been with Steve Mason? All right, well, that's the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's go now to the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions. First team, you got Barkov, Huberdeau, and Matthew Tkachuk. Oh, man, okay. This is tough because I'm looking at the second team. You got Pavel Bure there. Pavel Bure was fucking insane for the Florida Panthers, man. He was scoring 50 goals in his sleep during the dead puck era, which just was not, like, incredibly impressive what he did. So I'm sliding Bure to the top team. Now, who the fuck do you take out? I mean, Tkachuk's been there for the least. Honestly, I will take Tkachuk down. He's been there the least, and he hasn't had as good a seasons as Pavel Bure did with the Panthers. I know he has that 100-point season, I think, already with Tkachuk, but last couple years been a little bit lean with some injuries and shit, so I'm fine with sliding him down. Huberdeau's had so many amazing seasons with Florida. I would keep him there, and then Barkov. Come on now, let's go. So I'll slide Tkachuk down for Bure. Other than that, I'm mostly good. You got Ekblad and Gustav Forsling. Hey, that's really nice for Forsling, man. I really like that they're giving him the appreciation right there. I don't see Brian McCabe on this list. He was there. I think Yandel was there. Kind of Ed Jovanovski, I think, was there as well. Now, again, McCabe and Jovanovski, they were there at the end of their careers, so probably not the biggest impact, but I'm just thinking of some names. But Aaron Ekblad, first overall pick, he's been there forever, tons of injury problems, but every time he's in the lineup, he's awesome, so not mad at that. I'm very happy about Forsling. That's very, very sweet of them. And you got Roberto Luongo in net. Absolutely. Started there, he left, went to Vancouver, he came back, finished it off there, I do believe. And yeah, dude, Luongo was so freaking good for them. It's just Florida was not a very good team back then. So fine with Roberto. Second team, Pavel Bure, absolutely not. That's a first team guy right there. Sorry, Kachuk, you're coming down. With Olli Jokinen and Sam Reinhart is already here. Sam Reinhart looking like he could do another 50-goal season this year. He's been sensational for them since he got there. Not angry about it, but I'm thinking there's probably some longer tenure Florida Panthers that should maybe get the nod there. Do I have their names in my memory bank? What about fucking Zednik? That guy got his throat slashed, man. Like, I don't think he was like the best or anything. There's like Stephen Weiss, like some odd names, but yeah, man. I mean, Sam Reinhart, he's an amazing player. Definitely better than the guys that I just listed off, but yeah, I'm not mad at that. Olli Jokinen was really good. You got Jay Bouwmeester and Robert Schwela. I do not know a lot at all about Schwela, so I really don't have an opinion. Jay Bouwmeester, was he there in Florida? I do not remember him there in Florida. So I'll just have to take their word on it for those two defensemen right there, and then Sergei Bobrovsky back there. You got Ed Belfour. Yeah, he finished his career there, so he definitely wasn't Ed Belfour anymore when he got there. Trying to think of some other goaltenders that have passed through Florida. Who the fuck was there after Bobrovsky, or after Luongo, man? Oh, wasn't like Vokun there and shit like that? Anyway, I'm fine with Bobrovsky being there. He won the cup. He hasn't been like the greatest goaltender there, but he's given them some really good cup performances, or what do you call them? Stanley Cup performances. There we go. Oh my goodness, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs are up next. Oh baby, this is going to be special. I am fucking salivating right now at the look. Listen to this. First team, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, and Matt Sundin. Oh my God, man, that is, oh baby, that is just so creamy. That's so good. Now, there's a lot of names that I'm not seeing on this. I'm not seeing Alexander McGillney. No love for the Gill. Where's the Gill? Where's Gary Roberts, Owen Nolan, fucking Ron Francis? Who else was on these teams? Where's Ty Domi at? Come on now. I know these guys are. Okay, so Ron Francis, cup of coffee. Owen Nolan, kind of a cup of coffee. Gary Roberts was phenomenal, but yeah, I can't really say over Mitch Marner or Austin Matthews or anything like that. Matt Sundin on a line with Austin Matthews and Marner, bro. Oh my God. I'm completely fine with this. Okay, hold on. We'll get to the second team. We'll talk. Thomas Kaberle, Morgan Riley on your first pair defense. Thomas Kaberle, absolutely. That's a lock. Not even a conversation. Absolutely. Morgan Riley. Let's take a sidebar. Let's talk about Mo. I don't want to have this conversation, but everyone else is having this conversation. Is it time to trade Morgan Riley if they can? Now I think of the Toronto Raptors with DeMar DeRozan. I loved DeMar DeRozan. He was my favorite Raptor. I didn't even watch basketball, but I just loved DeMar DeRozan. And I was crushed when he got traded, but you look at the return, Kawhi Leonard, boom, Raptors win a fucking championship, and that was the trade. It was a hard decision, but they knew at that point, we need something else. We need more. I know DeMar is an amazing player, but we need someone to take down LeBron, and they found it in Kawhi Leonard. Now, does that trade exist in the NHL right now? I highly doubt it. NHL is a completely different beast, and I don't want to trade Morgan Riley. I want Riley to be here whenever there's success for this team. He deserves to be here. He's been here the longest. He's been through the most bullshit. And yeah, he's having a fucking struggle of a season. He's on pace for like 30 points. He's got 1 goal this year. He's not living up to his $7 million contract. And this has kind of been a theme now going on for at least 2 seasons now, where Morgan isn't really playing very well throughout the regular season. Last year, he was dealing with injuries. This year, he could very well be dealing with injuries. We don't know yet. Nothing has come out. Very likely that he's dealing with something. He generally always is, and he plays through a lot of injuries, and it is what it is. And Morgan's still playing quite a bit of minutes this year. He's well over 20 minutes per game, and he has a lot more support this year. And guys that I think have actually passed him on the depth charts on defense, like Tanev, even McCabe right now is playing amazing. I think he has passed him on the charts, and OEL even as well. So, Morgan Rielly looks like he's maybe the 4th best defenseman on the Leafs right now, and yeah, he carries a big cap hit, a big contract, and he's not living up to it. So, yeah, the conversation is, do we trade Morgan Rielly? What do you trade him for? What are you looking to get back? And will that wreck the team? Will it really hurt them leadership-wise and all that shit? Like, we still know that Morgan Rielly is an absolute animal in the playoffs. His best performances have been in the playoffs outside of the 20-plus goal season he had under Babcock so many years ago. And, it's been so long, and he hasn't hit that caliber ever since. Though that was just an anomaly. That was a career year, and Morgan Rielly's not going to get back to that. Plain and simple. It was just an amazing season. But now he's not even getting to, like, the 50-point range where we're used to seeing him at. He's not playing very good defensively. He looks not good, man. He looks a little bit like a passenger out there sometimes. And, yeah, it's a tough conversation. I don't know where they would go with that. Like, where do you trade him? I don't know what the return would be. It would have to be a lot, man. Like, Morgan Rielly is still an amazing player, but yeah, I will be the first to say that the whole time he's been there, he's not been the top 2 defenseman. He's played as a top 2 defenseman, but is he a top 2 defenseman? I honestly don't think so. I think his greatest role would be a top 4 defenseman with major PP time. And he's just not getting major PP. The PP sucks for the Leafs this year. It's been so very inconsistent. And that's another comment. Like, are they going to fire Mark Savard? Because, like, dude, like, this is some horseshit right here. The talent that you have, like, there's no excuse. I don't know, man. With that power play, I don't understand why it's been such a fucking mystery for the Leafs to unlock this power play consistently. Like, it'll usually start out so good that the numbers will still look good at the end of the year, even though it's been shit for half the season. It just had such a great start that it looks good in the end, but it isn't. I mean, the power play for the Leafs has been a problem for years. Years it's been a problem, especially in the playoffs. It goes super dead, and it looks super dead this year. And yeah, man, like, I don't know how do you change it up? Like, I don't know. You got too much talent. Maybe it's too much talent. There's just too much. You should spread it out a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. But the conversation is out there. Do you trade Morgan Rielly? I don't want to, but I would have to hear names. I would have to hear something coming back. Like, if you're like, oh, we're going to trade him to Columbus and bring back Provorov, like, what's that about? Like, I wouldn't want to do that to Morgan Rielly. Like, for Provorov, like, that's just not enough. Like, you need a guy like a Pietrangelo, and you're not going to get a Pietrangelo for Morgan Rielly. It's just not going to happen. People want Luke Schenn. People want things like that. Now, if you could make a trade with the Nashville Predators, and if you can swing a Luke Schenn and Ryan O'Reilly for Morgan Rielly, I'm doing it. I'm sorry. I'm doing it. Luke Schenn is an incredible defensive defenseman. He would be amazing for the Toronto Maple Leafs in that run, and then Ryan O'Reilly. We already saw what he can do for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and dude, to have him there as a third line, second line, whatever center, Conn Smythe ability, leadership, all that, I think I'd pull that trigger, man. I think I would do it, and, St. Louis, or, not St. Louis, what am I talking about? Who am I bringing over here? No, Nashville. Nashville would love a Morgan Rielly. You imagine that? Morgan Rielly over there. Oh, man, I don't want... That's the kind of trade that would hurt. It would hurt very, very much. A little consolation prize for getting Luke Schenn back, former Leaf, that I love. But would you do that trade? Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Schenn for Morgan Rielly. Boom. maybe whatever, little whatevers. You got a little pick here and there to clean it up or whatever to make it work. But would you do that trade? I think yes, I would. Absolutely. I'm so sorry, Morgan. I don't want to have this conversation, but if that is on the table, I'm taking it, man. I really am. All right, let's get back to talking about the first team. Thomas Caberlet, Morgan Riley. I'm happy with it. I'm fine. Ed Belfour, baby, cracks into the first team goaltender. Oh, fuck yeah. I admit it, I'm the biggest Ed Belfour fan there is. He's my favorite goaltender of all time. He's my favorite player of all time. He's the reason I got into hockey. All that great shit. I think Curtis Joseph probably deserves the first team, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Even though Curtis Joseph's best runs were like 98, 99, 2000 and stuff like that, I think Curtis Joseph deserves the first team over Ed Belfour. Ed Belfour wasn't there very long. He was amazing. I loved him so much, but I will personally give it to Curtis Joseph. Give it to Cujo. All right, second team. Phil the Philadelphia Kessel. Okay. Now, I need to have a conversation about this. What about Alexander McGillney? McGillney was the only guy that ever outscored Matt Sundin on the Leafs when he was here. It wasn't a long run with McGillney, but it's McGillney, man. He's so amazing. But it's Phil Kessel, my favorite player of all time. Right there with that Belfour. So I wouldn't be mad if they put McGillney there. I'm so happy to see Phil Kessel there. You got William Nylander and John Tavares. You really can't pull either of them off over the likes of Owen Nolan and Roberts and those guys because they weren't there long enough. Yeah, what about Matt Stajan? You're so funny. No, but I'm fine with that. You got Brian McCabe and fucking Dion, baby. Dion Phaneuf. Goes to show you how lean the Leafs defense have been over the last few years. Dion was fine. Fine defenseman. No, he was never the caliber of player that he was in Calgary. He was already losing that. And when he got to Toronto, he was just like, yeah, he was fine. He did what he needed to do. He laid some big hits every now and again that I loved. Make me go crazy. And yeah, man, double Dion. I kind of miss Dion. I just, he was fun. He was a weird fucking guy, man. And then Curtis Joseph on the second team. I'd switch that with Belfour. Outside of that, I'm not horrified at the Leafs. That first team makes me cream with Matthews, Marner, and Sundin. That would be disgusting. I would love to see that in real life, but I don't think we'll ever see that. Regardless, that's the Toronto Maple Leafs. What do you think about that one? Pretty interesting. We'll go to the Anaheim Ducks now. First team, Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlaf, and Teemu Selanne. Oh, baby. Yeah, that's pretty fucking good right there. Hard to argue. Perry Getzlaf, a major part of that Stanley Cup championship and why they were so good for so long. Amazing players. Teemu Selanne, one of the greatest of all time. Scott Niedermayer, and, dude, come on now. Cam Fowler, he's amazing, but do you know who's on the second team? Chris fucking Pronger. That guy basically won them a Stanley Cup. I'm sorry, no. It's Scott Niedermayer and Chris Pronger, 1-2 wombo combo. That's the pair that got them the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry, Cam Fowler. You're an amazing Duck, but you're second team, dog. J.S. Shiger in net. Absolutely. The dude was sensational during the Dead Puck era. I loved Jean-Sebastien Shiger. I was very happy. His little pit stop there with Toronto didn't go very well, but I was happy to have him there. All right, I'm pretty good with that outside of Cam Fowler being on first. We'll switch him to second. Second team, you got Paul Kariya. Now, you could argue Paul Kariya being on the first team. Rather, you slide him in with... you could move any of those three, honestly, for Paul Kariya. I wouldn't be mad about that. You got Bobby Ryan. Remember him being a fucking Anaheim Duck, man? Yeah, he was awesome as a Duck. And Jacob Silfverberg? I don't know about that one. I don't know about Silfverberg right there being the guy. Trying to think, you got Ryan Kessler. I know he wasn't like the greatest or anything. Trying to think of some other guys that were on that team, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's definitely something better than Jakob Silfverberg. Like, he was a fine player, but I don't know, man. I feel like there's got to be something better than that one. You got Francois Beauchemin and Chris Pronger on the second team. For the Ducks, trying to think of some other defensemen. Like, there's definitely some coming up. like the Zellwegers and the Michukovs and stuff, they could possibly crack onto this lineup in the next 5 to 10 years. We'll have to wait and see. But, Chris Pronger definitely up on that first team. And John Gibson in net. Yeah, I could be down with that. I know he's definitely been, on the trade block for arguably longer than he's been a Duck. But regardless, John Gibson is a great goaltender. We'll see what's his face up there next, the guy that's in there now. But, yeah, John Gibson, I'm good with that one right there. Oh, my goodness. Up next, we have a team that's only been in existence for, I think 3 years now. Seattle Kraken. This is hilarious. I cannot wait to... Let's just go... Can we go straight to the second team? Goaltender, Philip Grubauer. Oh, my God. That is hilarious. Never in the history of the world will we see this again, where a goaltender this abysmal has made a second team, any team of recognition. Philip Grubauer, the worst player on this list. I'm not even going to... Hands down, he is the worst player on this list. I'm not even finished this list. He is the worst. Grubauer, you suck. You should not be here. I would take Drieger. I would take any other goaltender that has even breathed air in the Seattle area. Way better than Grubauer. All right, first team. Jordan Eberle, Yanni Gourde, and Jared McCann. I think Jared McCann would be the only one there that would stay on this list after a 10-year period. He's been very good. A little bit up and down this year, but the rest of them, Jordan Eberle, he's a fine player, but I don't think he's gonna stay there for the remainder for a very long time. In 10 years, I don't think he'll be on here. Excuse me. And Yanni Gourde is he's barely even playing for them right now, and he's probably getting traded. On defense, you got Vince Dunn and Adam Larson. I'm actually quite satisfied with that. Vince Dunn, I think, easily probably the best defenseman they've ever had so far. And then Adam Larson, man, he kind of resurged his career as a phenomenal defensive defenseman that I would love to have on my team. But, I'm good with that. Enjoy Decourt. Absolutely. He's a stud. Been playing really good for them. Could have been in net for the Canadians, or the Montreal, not Montreal, for the country. The country, Canada. There you go. Regardless, yeah, it's fine. You can't really say a whole lot because there's not a whole lot of players on this team. But what about it was Bjorkstrand, guys like that? No, not enough. What about the Jaden Schwartz? How is Jaden Schwartz not there over Yanni Gourde? Come on now. All right, second team, Matty Beniers. It's too bad he hasn't been able to recapture a really good rookie season. He's really been struggling ever since. Hasn't been able to get to that level again, but I like Matty Beniers. I think he will eventually get it back. I just think he needs a little bit more support on the team. Oliver Bjorkstrand and Jaden Schwartz. There they are. They're just on the second team. You can argue them on the first team, but it is what it is. Brandon Montour and Jamie Oleksiak on the second team. Brandon Montour, sure, he just got here, but yeah, he's already probably qualifies to get onto that list. And then Jamie Oleksiak, another guy you'll probably never see on any sort of team of notoriety, but there he is with Philip Grubauer. That is fucking hilarious. We'll move now to the Minnesota Wild. Another team that this is pretty much their whole existence. I think they came into the league at 2000 as well. You got first team Marian Gaborik, Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov, and Mikko Koivu. That would be a very fun line, like Gaborik, Minnesota era Gaborik with Kaprizov. Oh, the speed, the talent, that would have been crazy. And Mikko Koivu, just the stalwart, great fucking two-way center. Fine with that one right there, I would say. Trying to think of, that's kind of the thing with Minnesota. They haven't really had any superstars until Kirill Kaprizov. So there you go. You got Jonas Brodin and Jared Spurgeon on the back end. I think I'm good with that one. Two very underrated defensemen, I think, straight up. I'm good with that. I think I'm good. And then Nicholas Backstrom in net. All right, so it's the battle between Backstrom and Dubnyk. Dubnyk was really good with Minnesota. What a journeyman goaltender. He made so many stops. And finally, it was is this guy, is he good enough? And they finally found a home in Minnesota and was good enough. He was very good in Minnesota. But Nicholas Backstrom, man, he was the guy before. He was a very, very solid goaltender. Yeah, I'm good with him being on the first team. Second team, Andrew Burnett, Joel Eriksson Ek, and Zach Parise. You know what? Honestly, I think you could maybe even argue like a Zuccarello in here over like an Andrew Burnett, even a Zach Parise. Like Zach Parise, I mean, he was okay for Minnesota. He was definitely not, what he was in New Jersey when he was putting up those 90-point seasons or whatever. But yeah, he was good when he was here. Just didn't really live up to those massive contracts. And to go with him, Ryan Suter, defenseman that signed the same contract with him. He was good as well. He's still playing. He was a good defensive defenseman for them. Can't really argue with that. And then Nick Schultz on defense. Okay, I'm trying to think of some defensemen. I mean, honestly, you could probably put Brock Faber on there right now. I don't think anyone would be all that upset with that one. That's what I would do, honestly. I don't remember a lot about Nick Schultz there. I would put Brock Faber. Fuck it. And then Devin Dubnyk in net. Second team. I'm fine with that one. That's good with me. All right, Pittsburgh Penguins. This is going to be fun. All right, Pittsburgh. You got Crosby, Jake Gensel, and Evgeny Malkin on your first group of forwards there. So no Stahl, no whoever. Yeah, no, I mean, Jake Gensel was an amazing player. A player that was like, not just a guy that got shoved on Crosby's wing and was, brought up by Crosby. He was already a very good player, and he mixed extremely well with Sidney Crosby, and now he gets to go play with Kucherov. So he's a happy boy. I'm fine with Jake Gensel being there. I don't think that's that odd. You got Sergei Gonchar and Chris Letang. I mean, yeah, dude. Gonchar was disgusting. Chris Letang, yeah, I mean, he's on the back end now, but during his prime, he was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't think he has a Norris to his name, but I feel like he was in the conversation a lot. But yeah, Chris Letang, dude. It's Chris Letang. And Marc-Andre Fleury. Who else are you going to have in net right there? Of course, it's going to be Marc-Andre. I'm good with that one right there. There's probably some names. I mean, well, okay, let's just go. Oh, my God. Okay, so you have Mario Lemieux on the second team. Now, you got to take this with a grain of salt. This is, 2000, after 2000 Mario Lemieux, where he retired, he returned, he was still amazing, he's still Mario, but, after 2000's Mario, is that better than Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin during their prime? I would have to say no. I think those two do qualify. You could put Mario up there over Jake Gensel. I think that's fair to say. I would be, are you kidding me? Crosby, Lemieux, Malkin? Oh my goodness. Let's just do that for the fun of it. You got Phil Kessel, Chris Kunitz, and Mario Lemieux are on the second team. So we'll slide Lemieux up, bring Gensel down. I love the fact that they put Phil Kessel there. He was only there for not very long, and he had a horrible relationship with Malkin, but 2 Stanley Cups, a major part of that. Should have had a Conn Smythe. And yeah, dude, Phil Kessel was amazing as a Pen. He had his best years of his career there. Chris Kunitz became a fucking Team Canada Olympian. He was so good with Crosby. And a lot of people give him shit that, he wouldn't be anything without Crosby. But, dude, he still had to, like, there's a lot of guys that have been on that platform. You get to play with Crosby. Not everybody lives up to that pressure, and Kunitz lived up to that pressure. He was amazing. He was amazing in those Olympics, so I give him all the props. I think he deserves to be on the second team. He was incredible. He was absolutely sensational. Oh, wow. All right, defense. You got Brian Dumoulin. Brian Dumoulin, everybody, has made it. And Brooks Orpik. Okay, there's gotta be, what about Ron Hainsey? Does, that guy not crack that? There's got to be another defenseman out there somewhere that's better than Brian Dumoulin. No disrespect, but come the fuck on now. And Matt Murray in net. I mean, yes, he won 2 Stanley Cups with the Pens, so you got to give him that. What other goaltenders was there, man? You got Tristan Jarry. I don't think that's going to work out. He doesn't have the Cups to his name, and he's currently in the minors. So, yeah, not going very well for him. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I feel like there's, what about James the Real Deal Neal, man? Where's that guy at? I mean, I don't think he had a bigger impact than, Chris Kunitz or Phil Kessel, so that's okay. Yeah, I'm okay with this one as well. I think that's fine. We got the Winnipeg Jets up next. Oh, my God. All right, we have major problems, folks. We got major problems with the Jets. Now, take into account, the Jets didn't become the Jets until 2009 or something. Prior to that, they were The Atlanta Atlanta Thrashers. There we go, everybody. So there are players from the Atlanta Thrashers, such as Ilya Kovalchuk, Mark Scheifele, and Blake Wheeler on the first team forwards. I have a major fucking issue right here because on the second team is Kyle Connor. Kyle Connor over Blake Wheeler, 1,000,000%. Over Mark Scheifele, 1,000,000%. I'm sorry. No. Kyle Connor, first team, 1,000%. The disrespect, I cannot believe right now. All right, so we're not okay with Blake Wheeler being there. That's my big issue. On defense, you got Dustin Byfuglien and Josh Morrissey. Okay, I think I'm good with that one. Yeah, man, Byfuglien, fucking dominating, horrifying, scary, big, massive defenseman. And Josh Morrissey, he's the guy that took over the reins. After Byfuglien and Trouba, all the big guys left, this guy took over and he's been sensational. And Connor Hellebuck in net, obviously. There's nobody else. But absolutely switching Kyle Connor up with Blake Wheeler. Second team is Kyle Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, and Brian Little. All right. I mean, Brian Little, he had some good years there for sure with Winnipeg. Didn't end very well for him. Lots of injury problems for Brian Little. I feel like there's got to be a guy that's going to get, like Velarde right now. He's been sensational. Ehlers is already here, so that's okay. What about Danny Heatley, man? Like he was a Thrasher. He was fucking sensational. I would put Danny Heatley there over Brian Little, honestly. So there you go. Nikolai Ehlers, all right, yeah, that's probably okay. Defense, you got Toby Enstrom. He was pretty damn good. And Jacob Trouba, who was freaking pretty fucking awesome as a Winnipeg Jet and is now a Duck. And the other goalie is Andrei Pavelec. Oh my goodness, who remembers that guy? Oh man, so many of the NHL video games, that guy got so good for me. Like we're talking 96, 97 overall. He got so good in some of the older video games. But yeah, kind of a missed potential right there. He had some good times, but yeah, didn't quite reach that level. Definitely not the level of Hellebuck, that's for sure. Only other goalie I could think of, I think Lettinen. There's like a Kari Lettinen in on the Thrashers. He just got lit up like a Christmas tree all the time, but I'll shout that guy out. All right, so that was upsetting. Just the Kyle Connor thing. That is one of the most egregious things I've seen on these lists so far. I cannot believe that. Oh baby, it's Calgary time. Where's Jerome? All right, as long as Jerome's on the first team, I'm okay. All right, Calgary Flames first team: Johnny Gaudreau, Jerome Iginla, and Matthew Tkachuk. Absolutely. I think I'm completely fine with that one. Can't really think of anyone else that is better than those guys right there, man. That's, oh my goodness, that would be such a disgusting lineup right there, man. Like, can you imagine dealing with Iginla and Tkachuk? Like, oh. On defense, you got Mark Giordano and Robin Regehr. Yeah, man, those two were sensational. Mark Giordano, man, that fucking Norris that he won late, that was awesome. And Mika Kiprasov in net. Who the fuck else you gonna have? My second favorite goalie behind Ed Belfour. I love the Kipper. All right, we're good with that. Second team, Michael Backlund, Craig Conroy, and Sean Monahan. All right, so no Elias Lindholm. He doesn't get here. I'm happy that Sean Monahan got here. I mean, he didn't really, he had like a couple of good seasons. He was a favorite, obviously. Best friends with Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, yeah, you can keep him in there. It's not going to be the worst. Craig Conroy was one of the other really good forwards that they had during the Iginla days. Yeah, man, there's definitely some Flames that had some good seasons. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. I can see his face. I have his face in my brain, but I do not have a name for it. He had some, oh, it's right there. It was right there. I almost had it. Okay, well, whatever. I'm not angry about it, but I feel like there's something missing there. On defense, you have Rasmus Anderson and Dion Phaneuf. I mean, dude, you look at what Dion did as a Flame, like in his early years, putting up like 20 goals. The dude was just hammering everybody. He was amazing. Early Dion, man, was just ridiculous. I just don't think he could have kept that up throughout his whole career. He would have died. But Rasmus Anderson, a fantastic defenseman that they have right now. Trying to think of other really good defensemen that they had. I mean, you could kind of count Adam Fox, but nah, we won't do that. We won't do that. And then Jacob Markstrom in net. Yeah, Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. Jacob Markstrom was amazing. Still is a really good goaltender. Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's go with that. Oh, no. Not the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm seeing names here that I don't want to see again. Aw, man. All right, let's get in here. Philadelphia Flyers first team, Simon Gagne. Oh, this Leaf killer right here, but I fucking love Simon Gagne, man. I love this guy. So freaking good, so talented. Really good player right there. I'm good with this. Oh, wow, I'm not seeing him. All right, we got Claude Giroux and Mike Richards rounding out the forwards here. I'm not seeing Jeff Carter. I'm not seeing Wayne Primo. I'm not seeing Hartnell. I'm not seeing fucking Roenick. I'm not seeing some players here. Where's Recchi? Where's Recchi at, man? Where's Rec? Holy shit. All right. Something's weird. On defense, oh my god, I don't even, what the fuck? Eric Desjardins and Kimmo Timonen. Dude, they have Pronger. What are you doing? How is Pronger not your first team? That's fucking ridiculous. No, this might be the worst list to date. This is fucking terrible. I don't know who Eric Desjardins is. I know Kimmo Timonen was like there, but like, I don't know, man. Like, you got Pronger on the second team. Nope. And then Roman Cechmanek in net. Okay, no Ray Emery, bro. Like, where's the Ray Emery at? What the fuck? Roman Cechmanek? Like, yeah, he was a pretty decent regular season goalie, collapsed in the playoffs every time, but what the fuck? Robert Esch, anybody? I don't remember that guy. I do. All right. That's not good. I don't like that. Like, no Jeremy Roenick. Where's Primo? Like, I know these guys, they weren't in their prime during this quarter century, but still, it's Jeremy Roenick, and fucking, come on now. Where's Recchi? All right, so their second team, Daniel Briere. All right, I'm fine with that. Sean Couturier and Jacob Voracek. I don't know, man. Like, Jeremy Roenick not here, I think that's kind of insane. Whenever I think about the Flyers, I think about Jeremy Roenick destroying the Leafs back in the day with Pronger and fucking, I don't know if Pronger was there, but Wayne Primo was there, all those fucking guys. And where's Ray Emery? All right, defense on the second team is Chris Pronger and Ivan Provorov. Okay, there's definitely been not the best defense coming through there in Philadelphia, but it's not. I mean, Pronger's amazing, but he shouldn't be on the second team. It's crazy. And Brian Boucher in net. All right, I can be okay with Boucher because he had some good runs there. But I'm shocked that Ray Emery's not on this list. Did he not go to the finals with them or something? Anyway, yeah, that's a wild group right there, man. There's some names that I am not seeing. What's his name? John Leclerc, was he not there as well? Like, the fuck? Like, are they not, like, was Lindros still not in, like, his prime in the early 2000s and stuff like that, and the Legion of Doom line and stuff? I know that was back in the 90s, but, like, no Eric Lindros either? Like, okay, man, there's some fucking names I feel like missing from Philadelphia. That's wild, bro. All right, we'll try and follow that one up. We're going to go with the Boston Bruins. Here we go. First team, Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, and Brad Marchand. Okay. I wanted to say David Pastrnak because where the fucking fuck is that guy? You kidding me? You're going to pick David Krejci over Pastrnak? I don't know about that one, bro. You also have Joe Thornton down there. But I think all said and done, I think most people would take a Bergeron over Joe Thornton. That's just, I personally would. I think Joe Thornton was an incredible player, obviously. But Patrice Bergeron, the much more complete player, I would say. So I'm good with Bergeron there. Honestly, man, I think you should have Joe Thornton up there and Pastrnak over Krejci and Marchand. That's my opinion. Like, Marchand's had some, I don't know, man. Marchand's had some really good years there, and he's obviously a favorite. He's the captain, so I can be argued to keep Marchand on the first over Joe Thornton. I can be in that argument, but I think David Pastrnak over Krejci. I know Krejci was excellent, but come on, dude. Pasternak's had like this. He's had like, I think that he had the 60-goal season. Like, come on now. It's David Pastrnak. I would take him over Krejci. Second team, you have Milan Lucic, David Pastrnak, and Joe Thornton. Oh, sorry, I didn't even do defense. Defense on the first team, Zdeno Chara and Charlie McAvoy. Oh my God, that is... What a fucking scumbag line that no one would get through that fucking pair right there. That's incredible. And then you have Tim Thomas as the first team. All right. I mean, honestly, I would say Tuukka. Now, I know Bruins fans would be up in arms about that. Oh, he never won no Stanley Cup. But the numbers say Tuukka was the better goaltender, all said and done. I'm taking Tuukka over Tim Thomas, but Tim Thomas, he had some amazing years, man. It took him a little while to get there, but he got that cup. And, that was an incredible run that he had during those playoffs. All right, to the second team now. Lucic, Pasternak, Thornton. It's really good. No Phil Kessel. You could have put Phil Kessel. Tyler Seguin, maybe. Who else has passed through there? Taylor Hall didn't really do anything. Lucic during his prime in Boston was a game changer. Legitimately scared the fuck out of everybody. We know I want David Pasternak on the first team, and Joe Thornton, you can argue, on the first team as well. I'm fine with the players. Defense, you got Torrey Krug and Dennis Seidenberg. Okay, very interesting. Torrey Krug was a really good Bruin. I know they really liked him there. Great offensive abilities. I remember that shift that he had with the helmet off and everything during the playoffs. That was amazing. Dennis Seidenberg was a beast during the Bruins cup run. Big, mean, scary defenseman, just screams Bruin. But man, there's got to be another defenseman there that maybe a little bit better than that. But Seidenberg was really good, and Tuukka Rask to round out the goaltending. I want him on the first team, but yeah, that's not bad for the Bruins. I'm trying to think of some names. I'm sad that no Phil Kessel. That's okay. All right, we'll go to Buffalo. This is the first one that I saw. And this is before I realized that it was a quarter century. I thought it was just all-time team. So I didn't see some of the names from the Buffalo's, all-time greats, like Housley and shit like that. I was like, what the fuck? Tyler Myers is on this over. Anyway, all right, so let's get to the Buffalo Sabres. First team, Daniel Briere, Jason Pominville, and Thomas Vanek. Dude, you don't have fucking Jack Eichel up there? Come on. I know you guys hate him over there in Buffalo, but come on. I think Eichel is better than Pominville or Vanek in their prime. Danny Briere was really, really good during his tenure there. I'd still put Eichel over that, so I want Eichel up there. But those are three fine players during their era. Now, we do keep in mind the Buffalo have been in a perpetual rebuild since 2009, so they haven't been a very good team since these players were on their team. Briere, Pominville, and Vanek, man. Those guys were major players on that, 2006 team that was so fucking good. Brian Campbell and Rasmus Dahlin on defense. Brian Campbell was really good for Buffalo there at that time, and Dahlin is probably the best defenseman they've had since Phil Housley and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm fine with Dahlin being there. Okay. Ryan Miller, first team goaltender, over Dominik Hasek. Not in my house. Not in my fucking house. Nope. Ryan Miller, you're sliding down. Dominik coming up. Dominik is the best goaltender of all time. If he just had a longer career and played more, he'd have all the best stats. But he is, during his prime, which was in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, this guy was the best. The best. So no, he is first team 100%. Second team, Chris Drury, Derek Roy, and Jack Eichel. So you slide Jack Eichel up to the top, maybe bring down Pominville or something, and there you go. Yeah, Drury, Roy, those guys, again, good players during, the good days of Buffalo, but yeah, it really goes to show Buffalo didn't have a whole lot of superstars coming through at that time. They had some good players, but you're looking back at, Drury, he's the GM of New York Rangers right now, and he's kind of sucking at that too. There you go. Defense, Jay McKee, don't even remember that guy, and Tyler fucking Myers. You're telling me that Owen Power isn't a better defenseman than Tyler Myers already was? I think I would put Owen Power there probably. Probably a lot. I don't know, man. Tyler Myers wasn't all that good in Buffalo either. I don't even remember who Jay McKee was. My apologies. And Dominik Hasek as a second team, that's fucking crazy. That you should be put in prison for that. No. Ryan Miller was amazing, but he's got no one has anything on the Dominator. So no. Dominik Hasek, first team goaltender, Buffalo Sabres. How fucking could you? How could you? All right, Dallas, let's see what you got. We got first team forwards, Jamie Benn, Yuri Lettinen, and Mike Modano. All right. Some people might not be that familiar with Yuri Lettinen, but he was a fucking phenomenal two-way forward. I believe he won the Selke a whole bunch of times, but he was an incredible defensive forward. You got Jamie Benn. I mean, in his prime, he was amazing. He's still a very good player, just a little bit overpaid right now. He did win an Art Ross during a low-scoring period, of course. But, hey, Jamie Benn, I'm down with that. And I'm trying to think here. Back to the Buffalo Sabres. I don't think Brett Hull was there after the Cup wins, so that's kind of hard to put him there. Joe Nieuwendyk. Who else was on those Cup teams there? Oh, who's the defense? Okay, they got him there. All right. So, and Mike Modano, of course, one of the greatest players of all time. Absolutely fine with Mike Modano. I actually just listened to the Spit and Chicklets podcast with Mike Modano on it. Very good listen. And fuck Mike Babcock for not letting Modano get 1,500 games. What a piece of shit. I'm good with those three forwards right there. Defense, you got Miro Heiskanen and Sergei Zubov. You gotta have Zubov back there. Absolutely. And Heiskanen, man, he is, I think, still underrated. He's a phenomenal defenseman. He just doesn't really put up the points that, you know, the Quinn Hughes, the McCarrs, and so on and so forth are putting up, but he's an amazing defenseman. And then Marty Turco as the first goaltender over Ed Belfour. So I would have to disagree with that one. Ed Belfour for the Dallas Stars was insane. Won them the Cup. He outdueled Hasek and the greatest goaltenders of that era. He won. So I'm putting Belfour. I loved Marty Turco as well because he was kind of like another Belfour type. He was very good at handling the puck and funny, underrated funny guy. But I mean, yeah, I'd put Belfour there, but Marty Turco in his prime was really good as well. But no cup. Second team, you got Brendan Morrow on forward, Joe Pavelski, and Tyler Seguin. All right. I can definitely have an argument for Tyler Seguin being here. And even maybe Joe Pavelski. He was a great Dallas Star, but you got to think of some other guys here. Like, I know Brad Richards was there for a little bit, but he wasn't like all that or anything. I'm trying to, like, Louis Eriksson, like, he was pretty good. Anyway, yeah, I'm not offended by Tyler Seguin or Pavelski. I love Pavelski. Fine with Brendan Morrow being there. He was a really good Dallas Star. On defense, you got John Klingberg and Esa Lindell with Ed Belfour in net. So John Klingberg, he was fantastic as a Dallas Star, man. Like, yeah, he had a shitty run with the Leafs, but he was injured. He was super, super injured. And, yeah, he signed with the Edmonton Oilers recently, which, again, I wanted the Leafs to grab him. But that's okay. We'll see how John Klingberg is now. I believe he was dealing with a lot of hip issues. But, yeah, we'll see how he does. And Esa Lindell doesn't get a lot of attention there in Dallas. I think he's good, but again, you could probably squeeze in someone else there. I just can't really pull out any names from Dallas's defense from over the last 25 years. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, it's all right. Dallas, not bad. Ed Belfour, though, first team. How could you? All right, we got Carolina. This should be fun. All right, let's take a look. Oh my God, how do you do that? All right, well, first team, you got Sebastian Aho, Rod the Bod Brindamore, and Eric Stahl on your forwards. All right. Now, my only problem is they have Ron Francis on the second team. Ronnie Franchise, bro. He's one of the greatest players of all time. I don't know if I could really justify having him down there. Now, I don't recall what era of Ron Francis was there. I know he was kind of rounding down his career at that time. I believe he was there for that Stanley Cup, but I'm not super pissed off about it because Sebastian Aho is incredible. He's the best player on their team right now and has been for quite some time. And Rod the Bod. I mean, it's Rod the Bod Brindamore, man. Like, yes, he wasn't like the most over-the-top scoring. He's not a 100-point player, but incredibly consistent and solid as a rock. And then Eric Stahl, man. Like, dude, Eric Stahl, like, he just recently got I don't know if it was retirement or a jersey retirement, something like that, but they're talking about Stahl. And his first year in the league, man, when he won the Cup or whatever, he was like 18, 19 years old, had a 100-point season. Like, incredible what Eric Staal did in his early parts of his career. The resurgence in Minnesota was really awesome. Like, yeah, dude, I'm down with Eric Staal. He was an incredible player. I just think he kind of peaked really early, and then the rest of his career, he just didn't quite live up to that early parts of his career. But, man, Eric Stahl's unbelievable. All right, defense. You have Jacob Slavin and Glenn Wesley. I do not know who Glenn Wesley is, not going to lie. Jacob Slavin, though, absolutely. The guy is an elite defensive defenseman, and I think the best thing about him is the fact that he doesn't take penalties while defending, which is fantastic. And then, of course, you got to have Cam Ward there. Again, kind of peaked early, got that Stanley Cup win. He was fantastic. And then, yeah, he just kind of couldn't live up to that incredible year ever since. And he was kind of living off of that Stanley Cup victory for a very long time. But you think of other goalies, like, yeah, Freddie Anderson's there, but always injured. Definitely didn't make the impact that Cam Ward did. So, yeah, it kind of has to be Cam Ward. I'm not upset about this. Second team, Ron Francis, Jordan Staal, and Justin Williams. All right, okay. You got the Svechnikovs there. He hasn't really had that major breakout season. I want him to. I believe him to be a 50-goal scorer one of these days. Yeah, Marty Necas. I mean, he's having a credible year this season, but I don't think earns a spot on the team just yet. But Justin Williams, fucking clutch right there. Jordan Staal, the captain, longtime serving captain. And Ronnie fucking Franchise. Defense, you have Justin Falk and Brett Hedican. So, no Brady Shea, you got no, who's the Pesci? No Pesci here, so interesting. They also have, like, Brett Burns is on their team, but he's way past his prime when they got here. Not really the best. Like, Justin Falk is a pretty damn good defenseman, but, yeah, I guess Carolina just hasn't really had an incredible high-end defenseman in their organization, but they always seem to have a really good defensive team, so I don't know. Brett Hedican, don't know who that is. Arturs Urbe in net, everybody. Who remembers that name? I can't remember how good he was or anything like. I remember the name, but can't remember if he was all that good or not. But there's Carolina. Go now to the Washington Capitals. I wonder if Ovechkin's going to be there. Of course he is. First team, Nicholas Backstrom, TJ Oshie, and Alexander Ovechkin. All right, I'm not going to... I got a problem with TJ Oshie being there. Over Peter Bondra, bro? No. Peter Bondra is up there. He's a phenomenal player. I don't even care, like... I don't know, like, what they're considered... Like, are we talking, like... Oh, Peter Bondra, like... I don't know, like, during his era as a Capital, he was sensational. So, no, I'm putting Bondra up there over TJ Oshie, Backstrom, Ovi. I mean, yeah, dude, you kind of have to. Ovi, absolutely. Nicholas yeah, completely fine with this. Defense. John Carlson and Mike Green. Okay. Now, those two, they were both, I mean, John Carlson's amazing. Mike Green had 30-goal seasons as a Washington Capital. Remember that? So, but then there's Sergei Gonchar on the second team. I don't know if I can keep Sergei Gonchar there. I know Mike Green had ridiculous seasons with the Capitals, but I'll slide. I'm putting Gonchar up there over Mike Green, and then Braden Holtby in net over Olaf Kolzig. Oh man, that is tough. That is tough. Ole the goalie, man, like an incredible goaltender, and then Braden Holtbeast, man, like the Holtbeast. He won them the cup, all that shit. But I think overall Kolzig was more consistent. Holtby obviously made a bigger impact with the cup win, but I'm going Ole the goalie, man. I'm sorry, Braden Holtby. I think you're fantastic. You're second team, man. There's no problem with that. But I'll go Ole the goalie. Other than that, not bad. Second team, Peter Bondra, slide that guy up top. You got Evgeny Kuznetsov and Tom Wilson. Okay. I'm trying to think of some other guys that were... Oh, who is that guy? Alexander Semin. Who remembers that guy, eh? Nah, I think I would take Tom Wilson. And, I mean, Kuzi, man. He had a kind of a wet fart of an ending in Washington. But, man, when he got there, he was so good. And that celebration. And just... Yeah, man, I'm okay with that. I'm not pissed. I'm trying to think of some other really big Capitals. What about Yager? Yager was there. You could easily I know he wasn't that great for the Washington Capitals. You can easily slide Yager in there. No problem. Yeah. Sergei Gonchar and Dmitry Orlov slides in there. Okay, defense on the Washington Capitals. There's not really a lot of guys after John Carlson and Gonchar, but Orlov was pretty decent. I don't know. I could definitely see someone else sliding in there, but that's who they got. All right, Washington, not bad. Oh, fuck. It is Montreal time, baby. Montreal time. What do we got? All right, I already have a problem here. First team forwards, you got Thomas Plekanec, Alex Kovalev, and Saku Koivu. I'm sliding off Plekanec there. I would take, on the second team, I would take Suzuki and or Pacioretty over Thomas Plekanec, in my opinion. But Kovalev, sensational player. He was so skilled, man. So skilled, ridiculously skilled. And Saku Koivu, man, like the long-serving captain, he was pretty fucking awesome. Defense, you got Andrei Markov and Shea Weber. So PK Subban sliding onto the second team. I think I'm okay with that, man. I think Shea Weber, all said and done, the better all-around defenseman. And Andrei Markov, probably the more consistent offensively minded defenseman. I'm fine with, I could switch PK with Markov, but I'm fine with Markov up on the first team, honestly. Second team, Brendan Gallagher. Oh, sorry, Carey Price and net, of course. That's obvious. That's obvious. Second team, Brendan Gallagher, Nick Suzuki, and Max Pacioretty. So I believe Suzuki or Pacioretty over Plekanec. Gallagher, okay, yeah, he had some pretty nice seasons there. Definitely has been a little quieter in the last few seasons here. Who else has been around there? They have Cole Caulfield. Like, I could be convinced Cole Caulfield over Brendan Gallagher. Maybe in like a year or two after this season or the next. Like, yeah, I could see Brendan Gallagher sliding off. On defense, you got Sheldon Surrey, stud. That dude's fucking slap shot was so intense. He was so handsome. So handsome, that guy. My goodness. And PK Subban. That is a nasty offensive pairing right there. And Jose Theodore in the goal. I'm good with that. I'm very good with that. I love Jose Theodore, man. I love that iconic image of him at the Winter Classic with the toque on his helmet. I love it. But, yeah, man, Montreal Canadiens, they definitely don't have the star power that they did in, like, the 70s and the 80s and shit. But some good players there. Some good players. All right, Colorado, what do we got? First team. Oh, my God. Dude, this is disgusting. Peter Forsberg, Nathan McKinnon, and Joe Sakic. Oh my God, dude, that is disgusting. That might be the nastiest forward grouping we've seen so far in this whole entire thing. On defense, hold on, let me just take a look at their second team forwards. I'm not mad. You can't change any of those forwards out. I'm sorry, you just can't. On defense, okay, you got Adam Foote and Cale Makar. Adam Foote was sensational for them. Who was that other guy? Didn't they have Rob Blake or so? Oh, okay, he's on the second team. I can't tell you if Adam Foote was better than Blake. I think Foote was more the defense and the other guy was more offense, but Adam Foote and Cale Makar paired together. End it. It's over. In net, Patrick Waugh. That's a Stanley Cup winning line right there. Holy fuck. That is nasty. Second team got Milan Hajduk, fucking Landeskog, and Mikko Rantanen, bro. Oh my God, that is a very good one right there as well. Rob Blake, Eric Johnson. Okay, Eric Johnson, trying to think of some other defense. He was pretty good for them, man. He was pretty good. That's a first overall pick right there. Okay, I'm fine with him. And then Semyon Varlamov back there. In no time, you're going to see Blackwood there. But Varlamov, I'm surprised they didn't put Kemper there just because he got the cup run and the cup win. But, yeah, Semyon Varlamov, he was there. Yeah. Anyway, that first team, bro. Forsberg, McKinnon, Sakic, Foote, Makar, and Patrick fucking Waugh. Whew, that's disgusting. I threw up a little bit. All right. Wow, we're at the last one. I don't know if this was all the teams. I'll probably have to come back and finish off with this is all that they've released so far as of January 21st. All right, Vancouver Canucks first team. This is gross. Marcus Naslund, Daniel Sedin, and Hendrik Sedin. Yeah, pretty good. Naslund was really good, man. But they got three centers on the second team that I'm like, I don't think Ryan Kessler is better than Naslund. Miller Pettersson, you could, like, when they're actually playing good and they're full potential, yeah, but I'm fine with Naslund being up there in the Sedins, absolutely. On defense, you got Alexander Edler and Quinn Hughes. Yeah, man, I'm good with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Edler was very, very good. And Roberto Luongo in net, fine with that. Second team, Kessler, JT Miller, and Elias Pettersson. Okay, trying to think. Alexander Burrows, nah, not feeling that one right there. Oh man, what was that guy's name? Mason Raymond? Who remembers that guy? He was fun. He was a former Leaf. Yeah, I'm pretty good with this one right here. JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, kind of fucking hilarious that they're both on that same team together, considering how much they apparently hate each other. You got Kevin Bieksa and Matthias Oland on the back end. A little surprised, no Jovo Cop. I know he was there at the early part, and then he got traded, but dude, Jovo Cop, the early 2000s, man. Also, like, no Todd Bertuzzi, no Brendan Morrison, so that West Coast line or whatever, those guys didn't make the cut. I feel like people would be pissed off if Bertuzzi was on here. But man, those guys in their prime, Bertuzzi and some of those big years with Vancouver before he became a complete psychopath, and Thatcher Demko in net. Yeah, I'm good with that. Bieksa, Olin, they were both really good defensemen. Who's that other guy that was there? Fucking, I think he starts with an H or something. Doesn't matter. All right, yeah, I'm good with that. I think that's pretty fun. That was a lot of fun, man. There was some reactions there that a little alarming, but yeah, man, that was really cool. Yeah, that was fun. All right, so those are the quarter-century teams that they have announced so far. Let's talk about Connor McDavid and his little wire snap or wire cross. Excuse me, that happened this week. Connor McDavid, you've probably seen it. Connor McDavid smacked fucking Connor Garland in the face, the Battle of the Connors, and McDavid gets a 3-game suspension. Tyler Myers gets a 3-game suspension, that wild Vancouver-Edmonton game. Absolutely garbage, man. Like, big brain move on Garland to just hold down McDavid at the end of the game. He knew that he's probably going to get away with it, and he basically did. Caused McDavid to fucking lose his mind. And, yeah, he cross-checked him in the face. McDavid gets a 3-game suspension. I didn't even see what Tyler Myers did, but apparently he fucking lost it as well. And, yeah, he gets a 3-game suspension. I saw what McDavid did. I think he's absolutely justified in what he did. I didn't even think it was all that bad. But yeah, you can't do that. You can't smack a guy in the face with your stick. So it is what it is. But, you know, man, this has been an issue with the league where they don't protect their stars at all. Like, McDavid, since he got into this league, has been attacked. And people know that they're not going to call every single thing. So, yeah, they just fucking tackle this guy, hold on to him, and just... Yeah, and McDavid, at times, will fucking lose his mind and snap and smack a bitch. And I'm completely fine with him doing that, man. Like, every now and again, you gotta lay the law down and be like, yo, you can't push me around. But with Edmonton, like, where's the support, man? I didn't see anybody come in there. Like, I saw Draisaitl, he took Garland for a long skate, and they had a big old chat about it. But other than that, I didn't really see anybody stepping in for McDavid. Like, if I saw my superstar on the ground getting wrestled like that, I know it was at the end of the game, and they wanted to tie it up. It was very important to tie it up, but that's bullshit, what Garland did right there. And he easily could have got 8 penalties for holding, and just ridiculous, man. So that was bullshit. I'm on McDavid's side with that one. You should have hit him a couple more times, honestly, because that was garbage. Leafs having some pretty wild games. That Montreal game was wild. I'm not gonna lie, I turned that bitch off. It was my wife's birthday, and we were watching the game together. She's a Habs fan. She's like, all right, looks like my team's going to win, and we turned it off. Little did she know, my team scored 7 straight unanswered goals. Get fucked. So that happened. That was really cool. Pittsburgh, Tristan Jarry has cleared waivers, and Pittsburgh's back in the dumps again. They're losing like crazy. And, yeah, that's kind of what's been happening. That's kind of the situation a lot of teams are in right now. Like, Detroit, they were dead, and then they go on a big winning streak, and now they're just kind of like meh again. And you got Ottawa, they're in the mix, but at any point if they lose like 4 straight games, they're fucking toast and all that shit. So yeah, not looking good for Pittsburgh. Doesn't look like they are going to be making it. In Colorado news, we got Makar is the 5th fastest defenseman in NHL history to 100 goals. I thought he had more goals than that, but regardless, ridiculously impressive. Can't remember all the names that were ahead of him, but it's the big kahunas, man. It's like the Coffees, the Borks, like the best defenseman of all, Bobby Orr. So being in that echelon, insane, bro. Absolutely insane. So it's not going to be a shock when Makar has more big records and shit like that. So good for him. I did mention the Eric Stahl jersey retirement. They had that. That was a very nice moment. And yeah, I think, Mitch Marner, fastest Toronto Maple Leaf to 700 points. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, this gets brought up a lot whenever Leafs franchise statistics come up. We just haven't had they definitely don't have the history like the Montreal Canadiens do. They have like 80,000 million Hall of Famers, and then the Leafs are just like, yeah, we got Hall of Famers, but like we don't have the franchise records that other teams have. It was just a terrible time with the Leafs during the 70s and the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, just horrible management, terrible treatment of superstars, and yeah, thankfully the Leafs got their head out of their asses now, and they've been much better run organization after the Ballard era and all that shit. But hey, congratulations to Mitch Marner. It's only going to be a matter of time before we see the big boys, Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares even, cracking into those top Leafs of all time in franchise points and shit like that. So that's amazing. All good with that, and I think that'll do it for me, everybody, for this episode. Thank you so much for listening through all that quarter-century teams. Which one do you think is the best? Colorado, in my opinion. That is the nastiest team. The worst one, I can't remember. The Philadelphia one, I remember pissing me off pretty bad. That was fucked up. No JR, no Mark Recchi. What the? No Scott Hartnell. What are you doing? All right. In terms of what else we got going on this week with the GX Plus cast, this week I'll be doing a mini Metroid Prime review along with a list of games that I feel have aged very well. And we're going to be doing that on the GamerCast this week and the WrestleCast. We got Saturday night's main event this week. I'm going to try and toss that in there with the regular recap. I think we're clear on big pay-per-views this week. And so we'll have the recap. If there is a pay-per-view, there will be a pay-per-view review, but like I said, I think we're in the clear, and yeah, there we go, everybody. So hopefully you're having a good time and being good and everything like that. I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos. Go over there, subscribe. Great place. Drop a comment on any of the videos you want a question answered live on the podcast. Just send in anything about hockey, video games, or wrestling preferred. Other than that, non-expert or anything like that. But drop in a comment, got an email, Twitter page, all that great stuff. The description or the links are all in the description. And there we go, everybody. Thank you again for listening to the GX Pluscast.